The desperate arrival Dominic Reed cursed as the coolant line erupted, spraying green fluid across his workshop, wiping his brow with a rag that had seen better days. He surveyed the damage to his tools. Statistical probability suggested that would happen, chirped BT-12, his spherical maintenance drone that hovered nearby. The bot's southern accent, a quirk from its previous owner, somehow made its observations more annoying. Probability can kiss my. Dominic stopped himself. Hand me the molecular spanner. You traded it last week for those so-called authentic tacos. A shadow fell across the doorway, halting their banter. Standing backlit by the setting suns of Port Kelvin was a tall, slender figure. Purple skin dulled to almost gray from malnutrition. Silver-white hair pulled back severely. Her amber eyes assessed Dominic with calculated precision. "You're human," she stated, her accent refined, despite obvious exhaustion. "Last time I checked," Dominic replied, setting down his tools. "Something I can help you with?" She squared her shoulders. "They say humans pay well for certain ... services." Dominic's stomach sank as he realized what she was offering. Before he could respond, a small movement caught his eye. Partially hidden behind the woman's legs was a child's same purple skin, same silver hair, but with round cheeks and enormous eyes that were locked on his half-eaten sandwich. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Nix," the woman replied, her professional demeanor cracking slightly. "And this is Sina." The child's stomach growled audibly across the workshop. Dominic crouched to the child's level. "Hey there, little one. Hungry?" Sena nodded solemnly, clutching a handmade doll missing one arm. "When's the last time she ate?" Dominic asked, straightening. "Yesterday? Recycled protein paste from the refuse center." Dominic winced. "That's barely food when it's fresh." He moved to his small kitchenette, firing up the hot plate. "Sit, both of you." "I didn't come for charity," Nix protested. "Because I'm not offering any." Dominic pulled out his meager supplies, a can of tomato soup, bread heel, and his last stick of real butter. "Tell me your story while I cook," as he prepared the simplest meal. Nix explained. They were refugees, parents lost to plague, expelled from the academy where Nix had studied navigation, now hunted by debt collectors for their parents. Unpaid loans. Sina's face when she tasted the soup was worth every credit it had cost. "It tastes like ... double quotes," she whispered in wonder. "Colors?" Dominic suggested with a smile. "Yes." The child beamed. Like sunshine. The door crashed open. 3 massive reptilian figures filled the frame. The leader, 7 feet of scaled muscle, displayed broken bottled teeth in what passed for a smile. "Walker," the reptilian growled, "you're harboring fugitives who owe the Merchant Guild 5,000 credits." Nix pulled Sena close, amber eyes now wide with fear.
"How?"
"They're not fugitives," Dominic heard himself say. "They're my customers, unexpected protector customers." The reptilian Drex laughed a sound like grinding metal. "Little Purple here has nothing to offer but herself. Young Purple sells well too." "Stop." Dominic moved between the sisters and the enforcers. "What if I cover their debt?" Drex tilted his massive head. "You, the human who can't pay his own rent?" Dominic thought quickly. 3 days. Give me 3 days to find the credits. Why would I do that? Drex's tail lashed against the doorframe. "'Cause if you take them now, you'll get what? 500 credits at auction? But if you give me 3 days, you get the full 5,000. Drex considered, yellow eyes unblinking. 3 days. If you fail, all 3 of you go to the mines. He extended a clawed hand. Deal. Dominic shook it, wincing at the bone-crushing grip. After Drex left, Nix rounded on him. You absolute idiot. Why would you do that? Because somebody had to. Dominic was already gathering tools. Tell me you have something valuable. It's just a broken ship. The Artemis. It hasn't flown in years. Dominic's eyes lit up. A ship where? That night, they stood before a battered vessel in the forgotten corner of Dock 12. 2 untrained eyes. It looked like scrap. To Dominic, it was possibility. This is pre-war design, he whispered, running his hand along the hull. Military escort, not the mining shuttle you thought?
Can you fix it?
Nix asked, skepticism thick in her voice. With the right parts, absolutely. They spent that night cataloging damage. Cena curled up in the pilot's seat, clutching her doll, while Nix held a light as Dominic worked. You were at the academy? Dominic asked, elbow deep in wiring. Navigation track. Top of my class. A flicker of pride crossed her face. Could plot jump routes in my head faster than most computers?
Ow.
So why are you here offering? What you were offering. Her expression hardened. The plague. The academy expelled all students from affected colonies. Suddenly my talent meant nothing. Their loss.
Dominic.
Emerged, grease-stained but grinning. Want to learn something? He guided her hands over a burnt coupling, showing her how to file connections. Her fingers were precise, steady perfect for delicate work. The next day brought challenges. They needed parts they couldn't afford. Dominic led them to the swap meet, a sprawling mechanical bazaar. Using his last luxury bar of chocolatass currency, he traded for critical components, much to Nix's astonishment. That evening, Dominic taught Nix to cook, standing behind her at the small stove, his hands guiding hers. He showed her how to make a grilled cheese sandwich. This is ridiculous, she protested, but her eyes betrayed fascination. This is art, he corrected, his chest warm against her back as he helped her flip the sandwich. Food should be more than efficient nutrition. Their eyes met, faces inches apart. Something electric passed between them. It's interrupted by BT-12's announcement that the sandwich was burning. Nix pulled away, laughing the first genuine laugh he'd heard from her.
Still better than my first attempt, Dominic smiled,
feeling something unexpected bloom in his chest. Hidden secrets on the second night, while Nix and Senna slept. Dominic discovered something extraordinary in the ship's navigation system. Boss, BT-212 whispered, optical sensor flickering nervously. This isn't standard navigation. It's Black Ops military-grade encryption. Dominic stared at the readout. What's it worth? Conservatively, Wu-Wen credits. But anyone with this tech would become a target criminals want it. Military kills to retrieve it. Dominic watched Sanaa, curled against her sister, their silver hair mingling. We don't sell it. We use it to get them somewhere safe. By morning, exhaustion had caught up with him. Nix found him slumped over the console, hands shaking from caffeine and lack of food. When's the last time you ate? She demanded. Yesterday. Maybe. Cena's innocent voice betrayed him. He gave me his breakfast, and you his lunch. Nix gripped his shoulders. Why are you doing this? Starving yourself for strangers? Before he could answer, the workshop door opened. A well-dressed man entered. Marcus Vale, Dominic's former crewmate who'd gone respectable. Dominic. Marcus nodded, eyeing Nix appreciatively. Heard you were in trouble? What do you want, Marcus? To help. Marcus circled Nix like merchandise. I could clear the debt. 5,000's nothing to me. What's the catch? Dominic tensed. She works for me. Hospitality division. Very exclusive clientele. Dominic's fist connected with Marcus's jaw before anyone saw it coming. Blood spurted from the man's nose as he stumbled back. Get out, Dominic growled. Marcus dabbed at his bloodied face. You just made a mistake, Walker. When Drex comes tomorrow, and you've got nothing, remember, you could have saved them. After he left, Nix touched Dominic's bruised knuckles. You shouldn't have done that. Yeah, well, I'm full of bad decisions today. That night, they sat on the ship's ramp under the stars. Senna slept inside, surrounded by tools she'd meticulously organized. I've done this before, Nix said quietly. The offering. 3 times. For medicine, when Senna was sick. For food during the worst shortages, and once, because I thought it was the only thing I had worth anything. Dominic's throat tightened. Nix, they took what they wanted and gave nothing back, she continued, voice hollow. I'm damaged goods, Dominic. You're protecting something already broken. You're not broken, he said fiercely. Broken things don't fight this hard. Her amber eyes searched his face. Then I want to offer again. He stiffened. Nix, no. Not for credits, she clarified. Not for survival. For want? What? I want you, she whispered, leaning closer. Not because I have to. Because I choose to. Betrayal and truth, their lips met under starlight, tentative at first, then with building hunger. Dominic's hands tangled in her silver hair as Nix pressed against him. Alien warmth seeping through worn clothes. This isn't gratitude, she breathed against his mouth. I know, he murmured, tracing the curve of her jaw. This is just us. We spent the night discovering each other, purple skin against tan, silver hair against brown. In the quiet aftermath, lying in the ship's small quarters while Sina slept in the cockpit, Nix traced patterns on his chest. If we survive tomorrow, she whispered, what happens? We run, Dominic said, kissing her forehead. Find somewhere safe. Start over. Is that possible? With this ship? Absolutely. He hadn't told her about the navigation system's true worth. That secret burned in his chest alongside newfound feelings he couldn't name. Dawn brought panic. The engine still wasn't functional, and they needed another full day of repairs. Time they didn't have. Drex won't extend the deadline, Nick said, pacing the workshop. He's wanted an excuse to send me to the pleasure houses for months. Dominic worked frantically, BT-12 hovering anxiously at his side. Maybe we can activate the navigation system, convince him it's worth more. ... double quotes, nav system. Nick stopped pacing. What about it? Dominic froze, realizing his mistake. It's special. Special how? He sighed. Military-grade encryption. Black Ops tech worth at least 10 times your debt. Her amber eyes widened. And you didn't tell me? I was protecting you. By keeping secrets. By deciding what I should know about my own ship. Anger flared in her voice. I'm not a child, Dominic. I know that. But anyone who has this tech becomes a target. The military kills to keep it secret. Their argument was interrupted by a message from Marcus. Last chance, Walker. I'll clear the debt if Purple comes willingly. 1 hour to decide. Nick stared at the message, then at Dominic. Maybe he's right. We can't seriously. What choice do we have? The ship isn't ready. Drex arrives in ours. We'll find another way. There's no other way. Tears filled her eyes. I've survived worse. At least this way, Senna is safe. You're safe. Dominic grabbed her shoulders. Listen to me. Last night wasn't just the workshop door exploded inward. Drex stood there, flanked by twice as many enforcers as before. Right. Time's up, Walker. You said 3 days? I lied. Drex's smile displayed every pointed tooth. Marcus offered a premium if I delivered the purple ones early. Betrayal. Marcus had never intended to help. Run. Dominic shoved Nix toward the back exit. Get Senna. I'll hold them. A new beginning. Nix hesitated only a moment before racing to gather Senna. Dominic faced Drex, wrench in hand against plasma weapons. This is pathetic, Drex laughed. Even for a human. BT-212 hovered at Dominic's shoulder. Boss, the nav system remote access is ready. Dominic smiled. Thanks, buddy. Activate Protocol Omega. The lights in the workshop flickered. Then came the sound, a high-pitched whine that made Drex and his enforcers clutch their heads in agony. Frequency calibrated to reptilian auditory systems, BT-12 announced proudly. Not bad for a maintenance drone. Dominic sprinted toward the dock where Nix waited with Senna at the ship's ramp. What did you do? Nix asked as they raced aboard. BT-12 hacked your navigation system. Found a military defense protocol. Dominic slid into the pilot seat, hands flying across controls. Should buy us 10 minutes. The ship still can't fly. No, Dominic grinned, but it can transmit. The console illuminated, broadcasting the encrypted navigation data across all military channels with Drex and Marcus's identifiers attached. He just painted targets on their backs, Nix realized, eyes wide. Military doesn't like people hunting their tech. Dominic activated the comms. This is Dominic Reed requesting immediate asylum for myself and to Verlani refugees. We have information about attempted theft of classified systems. Within minutes, a military cruiser descended on the dock. Soldiers poured out, arresting Drex and his enforcers, while officers debriefed Dominic and Nix, Commander Jackson. A stern woman with more medals than patience examined the navigation system. This belongs to us. But your quick thinking prevented its theft. No. She studied them. The military could use a mechanic like you, Reed, and a navigator like you, Verlani. 1 month later, aboard the military vessel Reliance, Dominic and Nix stood in their new quarters. Senna played nearby, both her doll's arms now intact. Not how I imagined starting over, Nix said, leaning against him. Military contractors with full asylum protection beats the alternatives. Dominic kissed her softly. Besides, I hear the food is excellent. She laughed, wrapping purple arms around his waist. The family is better. Tanae looked up from her dolls, silver hair falling in her eyes. Are we home now? Dominic and Nix exchanged glances. Yes, they answered together. We're home. Outside their viewport, stars streaked by endless possibilities for a family forged not by blood, but by courage and the simple gift of food offered without expectation. And in the small galley of their quarters, Dominic taught them both to cook, building new memories with butter and bread and laughter.